Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or of course welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you stick around and subscribe. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, then why not make sure the notification bell is switched on just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. So for today's video, we have an eyeshadow palette review for you, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, we are going to be reviewing Morphe's latest release, the 35D Desert Boutique palette. How stunning is this packaging? I absolutely love it. Now, Morphe have been dropping a couple of palettes recently, but the one before this was a little bit too boring for me, I'm not gonna lie. It was just a whole palette full of nudes. They've done it so many times now, and I just thought this palette is a little bit different. I love the colours in here, so I definitely wanted to buy this one to review. So this is what the packaging looks like of the palette. I absolutely love it. This palette retails for £24, which is about the same as these 35 palettes that they do, which is a really decent price actually. So the packaging of the palette is exactly the same as the box, which I absolutely love. I just feel like, you know, they've made a little bit more effort with the packaging. A little bit of a plastic inside. And then this is what the 35D palette looks like. I do love this because it does have your neutrals in there, but then it also has like a green section, a purple section, a yellowy section, a warmy pinky section. Like, it's so beautiful. It's not like a typical colour scheme. It does have a little bit of a mix of colours, and you have like a bright inner corner shade. You have beautiful shimmers in here. So yeah, I'm very excited to test this. Also, they have made the names on the palette like a permanent packaging thing, which I'm just so happy about because it makes my life so much easier, and I just feel like there's not wasted space in here either. There is no mirrors in these palettes, unfortunately, but yeah, this is what the palette looks like. We're going to be testing this today. I'm going to do some swatches, we're going to do an eye look, and then I'll give you my final thoughts at the end. So let's just jump straight into it. Firstly, we're going to see what the swatches look like. Okay, so these are the first lot of swatches, and I've actually swatched it a bit differently today. I've done it column by column instead of row, because how much more appealing does that colour palette look like with the column shades in rather than rows? Because I feel like if it was in rows, the shade range would be a little bit more random, whereas in columns, they're in kind of like little groups. So you have your little green section here, you have a warm tone section, and you have your like more neutrally shimmers and stuff. But how beautiful are these? I love the colour range in here. Some of the swatches I had to go over a couple more times, but overall I'm actually really impressed. Okay guys, this is the second lot of columns, and I must say I'm obsessed with the colour story. How beautiful are these purpley pink shades? I think I'm going to have to go down that route today because they are beautiful. I love that there's a black in here. There's also a white in the first lot of columns, which is nice. And I just love this colour story. There's a nice selection in here. There's so many looks you can do with it. And I'm really impressed with the swatches as well, actually. So let's get into it. Okay, guys. So I've just hopped off camera and primed my eyelids with the P. Louise eye base. And now let's get into this look. I can't talk properly, apparently. I'm not going to lie. Those pinks and purples, rich plum shades, I'm sorry, but I have to play with them today. If you want me to do another look with this palette, by all means let me know in the comments, and I'll maybe perhaps try the greens and yellows and things. But today I really want to try those, like these like bright purpley, oh, they're just so gorgeous. I'm so drawn to them. As soon as I looked at the palette, I was like, bing, you know, I was just like, yeah, I need to play with those today. So firstly, I'm going to take the shade Desert Garden, which is this one here. I'm going to put that all in my crease area. Okay, so that is what Desert Garden looks like, and considering that's like a really bright lilac-y shade, almost on the borderline of pastel, that is very pigmented. I'm super impressed. So I'm next going to take the shade Cactus Fruit, which is more of a bluey based pink, and I'm just going to build that up a little bit in the crease as well. Okay, to start blending this crease shade, I'm going to take the lilac-y pastel shade in the palette called Phoenix Flora, which is this one here. I'm always drawn to the bright, colourful shades, aren't I? They're a little bit crumbly, I'm not going to lie, but I mean, the pigmentation is just insane. So I think that's done a really good job at diffusing those edges. So I'm just going to go back in with that brush and just make sure it's all perfectly seamless and there's not any harsh lines. Okay, so I need to put a deeper shade in my outer corners, and I'm going to take this one here, which is called Mojave Heart or Heat. Mojave Heat, yep, Mojave Heat, no idea. Someone please feel free to let me know in the comments because I have no idea what that says. And I'm going to use a little bit of this just to put in my outer corners and deepen that up. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. I can always go back and play with the outer edges. I might need to add that deeper plum after, I'm not really too sure, but I've got a little bit of depth there now. I'm just going to go off camera and do a half cut crease with my P. Louise and Mima Mitchell cut crease canvas, that's a Revolution one, blank canvas cut crease shade. Why am I struggling to get my words out? The P. Louise and Mima Mitchell blank canvas paint with my Real Techniques accent brush. I'm gonna do both of those half cut creases off of camera and then I'll be right. Okay, so these are my half cut creases and now I need to pick a shimmer to go on the lid. So I think I'm going to take one of these like pinky shimmers. Let me swatch 3 of them. So these are the 3 shimmers in the palette, not the 3 shimmers, like the 3 pinky shimmers. And I low-key love this one, which I think is that Cacti Love You shade. This one's more, you know, purpley, and this one's quite a fair pink. So I think I might do the Cacti Love You one because it is more of a rose gold shade and it is beautiful. And by the way, this one is the one I'm on about. It's this top right one here. Okay, so that is that shade on. Now that shade is quite crumbly, to be honest. I don't know if it's a brush I'm using. I tried 2 different brushes and then a third one which finally applied it fine, and then I went in with my finger. It is very beautiful, very reflective. It just requires a lot of like building up and scraping of the pan almost, because it's like the top layer wasn't really that pigmented and you don't get the pigment until you scratch it a little bit. But final result, very, very beautiful, even though I did have a lot of fallout as well, but the actual finish of it is very beautiful. Okay, next I'm going to take this shimmer here, which is called I Gave My Heart, but I'm going to use that deeper shade to just slightly blend out those edges. I've got so much fallout, can you see that? Slightly blend them out into the outer corner, and that is working perfectly. So again, a little bit crumbly, a little bit fallouty. I'm just going back in with this brush just to tidy up where that ends. But I think I'm quite happy with that outer corner actually. And then for the lower lash line, I'm going to take this deep plum shade called Rich Clay. How beautiful is that? I feel like that's fully made this look complete, do you know what I mean? It looks absolutely beautiful, I love it, very pigmented. And then for my inner corner and brow bone, I'm gonna take this one here, which is called Villa Vibes. It's kind of icy but has like a gold reflect. Very blinding. Again, the shimmer was quite dry, but once you actually apply it, it's beautiful. So this is my completed look. I'm now going to hop off camera. I'm going to put some lashes, mascara and lips on, and I'll be right back with my final thoughts. Right guys, so I'm back and this is my completed look. So for my lashes, I used my absolute favourites, my Revolution and Roxy lashes. I've actually just bought 2 pairs of these off of one of my patrons, Becky, because I love these so much and I wanted some backups before they, you know, get all manky and stuff, because I've used these so many times and they're £8 and I got them both for an absolute bargain. My mascara is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang. I just wanted to use this up again. And my lips is the Essence Stay 8 Hour Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Duck Face. And this is my completed look. So please let me know down below what you think. So let's finally sit down and talk about the new Morphe 35D Desert Bouquet palette. I think I said boutique earlier. It quite clearly says bouquet on there. My bad. Ignore past me. So yeah, love the packaging. I love the whole theme of this palette. It's absolutely beautiful, and again it's in that cardboard packaging, which I absolutely love by Morphe. The plasticky packaging I don't really like, so yeah, thumbs up for the packaging. The colour story of this palette is spectacular, I'm not gonna lie. I love that they haven't stuck with like just one particular colour palette. They've gone from like khaki greens to yellowy oranges to cool toned neutrals to purples to pinky corals to warm toned neutrals, and you also get a white and a black in here. This is beautiful. Love the colour story. I really hope you guys feel the same about the colour story as me, but I just love options in palettes. It's no good to me if Morphe come out with it like they did previously to this. They come out with another new palette and like half the palette looks exactly the same, whereas this is different. I could quite easily think of 5 looks right now that I could create with this palette that wasn't like combining the colours. Like there's like at least 5 different separate looks you could do with this palette, which is amazing, and it makes the palette worth the money because of the amount of looks you can create with it. I love that there's a decent amount of shimmers in here. You get really light shimmers, you get dark shimmers, all different kinds of undertones and colours, and yeah, love the colour story. The formula of this palette, the mattes, really good. That I thought they were really nice and pigmented and blended really easily. The shimmers for me are not my favourite because they just had, or the 2 that I use, the Villa Vibes and the, where is it gone? Oh, Cacti I Love You. Very dry and very crumbly, but once you build up the layers, it does look stunning. Like, would you think that I'd spent a little bit longer building those up? I don't think so. So even though the formula isn't my favourite because it is a little bit dry, very crumbly and very fallout-y, I still think it's worth it because even after you build them up, you do get a beautiful shimmer, and it does reflect, like you can see how blinding my inner corner highlight is right now. It's insane. All the shimmers might not be the same, but those 2 in particular that I used are like that. So if you are going to use this palette, just be a bit wary of that and maybe do your eyes before you do the rest of your base makeup. So that's kind of a rundown of the colour story, the formulas and things like that. Do I think you need to pick this palette up? Well, it's always down to personal preference. This is such a hard question to answer because obviously if you like the look of the palette, then get it. It is a really nice formula. The shimmers a little bit hit and miss, but once you get past that and build them up, they are beautiful. So I do think it's worth picking up. You can get 10% and 20% off codes to get it for a little bit cheaper. I think do you know what, I actually used my friend Emily's Glam Fam code, and I'm going to leave that down below because I think this was £25, sorry, not £24. I'll correct myself hopefully when I'm editing. And I got this palette for £20, and then you get 3 shipping on Morphe UK if you spend £20. So yeah, I got this palette for £20 using Emily's Glam Fam code. It's GlamFam508. There's tons of influencers that have codes with Morphe, but I'm going to leave my friend Emily's one down below if you want to pick up this palette. So yeah, got it for £20. For £20, I think it's completely worth it. If you're like me and you like variety in your palettes, you don't like to always stick to the same colour palette, then I think you're really going to enjoy this. Packaging's really nice, colour story's really good. Love the colour story. I don't know how many times I can say that, but I do love it. Formula, mattes are amazing. Shimmers could be better, but they're also not the worst shimmers I've ever used. So yeah, those are my roundup thoughts on the 35D Desert Boutique, I just said it again, didn't I, Bouquet palette. What is wrong with me? Obviously I did stick to one sort of colour palette today, but if you'd like me to do a second video on this palette, then definitely let me know and I can do that for you, or I can do a look on my Instagram. Definitely go and check me out on there if you haven't already. I am working on second videos for the Aristocats, Dream Big and XX Cloud palette, so those will be coming very soon, but I have reviews coming up within the next 5 days or so that have to go up ASAP. I just bought so much of the Relove Revolution stuff. Anyway, I'm totally rambling now. That is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. Let me know down below what you think of the new Morphe palette, and of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!